Welcome everyone back to the Gran Turismo 4 Germanlocke, and today we're going to be doing episode 10 and tackling the last professional event series race we can do before we run into a roadblock of the IB and IA license. So last time out, we took this Mark V GTI and went and tackled Schwarzwald Liga A and won it pretty easily, I would say. I mean, it was definitely not as bad as the Mark IV R32 or the Roof did in their debut episodes, but definitely was a little bit of a beatdown for some of the cars. And we wound up winning out of all things. The car I least expected to get out of that event, the M3 GTR race car. I totally expected something like an M5 or maybe a S6 or something like that. I can't remember if the S6 specifically is in the game, but something like that. And then I get a freaking race car to the deal, and not just any race car, like a fairly good race car. So I'm not complaining. This car is probably going to get used at some point. But today's episode we'll be doing the Boxer Spirit, and the only car I have with a Boxer engine in it is the 3400S from earlier. So this car gets to make its comeback. So I'm really excited to see that. The first car since the Lupo that has had more than one episode feature it, and it not be in the form of a time lapse like the HPR32 did, and its debut episode and its follow-up episode, where I had to do some grinding. So the Roof is back. I wanted to build a RGT for this. Unfortunately, don't really have the funds for that. As you guys can see, we have 15,000 credits left over from last episode, and that was after pretty much bankrupting myself down to 750 credits with building that Mark V GTI. So the cars we're pretty much going to be seeing here are stuff like the RGT, the 3400S, the Legacies, the Imprezas, and stuff like the Carmi Ghia. So this will probably be pretty dominant. I do not expect this to be that hard, but we'll see how this goes. Alright. Let's get this race done. So we've got the CTR, so we might be in for a fight. The BTR, the RGT, we have got a STI and two version 6 STIs. One's just the Coupe R and one's just a regular sedan. So this is going to be tough. We make 400 horsepower in this car, though, so maybe we'll have a decent shot. Let's see how this goes. Because I don't really have a lot of money to throw at this car if we don't take the W here, so wish me luck, fellas. That sounds so bad. This is not something like a flat 6. Alright, let's see what we can do. So we're back on sports tires, which is unfortunate because I feel like I could easily crush this on the racing tires I've used on this car in the past. It was a little dirty, but it's fine. I had the inside line there. That was almost my corner to take. I don't know if I would say it is. I'll let the YouTube stewards handle that one. How am I catching up to these cars? These were cars I couldn't beat in the HBR32. How am I getting past them? I think that's the BTR, though. I think the CTR is up ahead. And as you can see, it is cruising past the Subaru. I have a hard time threshold braking in this game with this controller. I can't really threshold brake with a controller. For some reason, that doesn't click in my brain like it does on a wheel. I wonder if I could get this running on my Thrustmaster if I would be like that much faster. Oh, I overshot that pretty hard, but it's okay. I used the Subaru to help me out with that there. Didn't entirely ruin his race. Oh man, the Roof is definitely struggling in the corners here. The CTR, I should say. I forget I'm driving one myself. Come on. He's going to probably get me here in the straight. Oh, it's actually close. He's trying to push me. We'll just do the old switcheroo on him and get him on the inside line there. Come on. Oops, that sucks. That's going to screw me a little bit. My cruddy spatial awareness gets me again. Ah! I didn't turn in at the right time. No! I'm choking. I'm throwing this one away. Hong Kong once again being the death of me here. Now watch, I'm gonna hit this freaking wall here. I'm gonna hit it, aren't I? Come on. I want to beat the CTR. I want to at least beat the CTR. At least avenge the fact the HBA car struggled so much against it. Now, I do think... Well, granted, I think that was a CTR2 I was running against. Oops. I did not mean to do that. I think it was a CTR2, though. I will say that. I don't think it was the OG CTR. I'll have to go back and watch that episode. But I'm, like, surprised this car is giving the CTR a run for its money versus the HBA. But again, that could have been a CTR2. I'd have to go back and watch that video and see. Let's see. I can not bungle this again. Oh, that was better. That's also better. Now I completely botched this corner here in the first lap, on the last lap. Probably took a little conservative there, a little too conservative. Onto the back straight. Let's let this old 3.4 liter that sounds like dog water because sound design and PS2 days were awful scream. There we go. Off we go. Ooh, I kind of overshot it. But man, 5-second gap almost on the roof, CTR. There we go. Ah, I should have turned a little bit more. Oops. Oh well. One more lap. This is actually taking a lot longer than I thought. I forgot it was a 4-lap race. So far, so good, though. I'm focusing hard here because I don't want to mess this up. Because, like, I know I've got a solid lead right now, but I feel like one mess up and it's over. Took that a lot faster than last lap. So that's the thing that does suck is that, you know, the PS2 didn't have analog triggers. So it's really hard to get controllers with analog triggers like my Xbox controller here to play nice with, you know, this game. Because it's just, I have such a hard time with it because I can't really threshold it as linear as like on the Xbox. So that does suck. Oh man. Oh man, that corner still gets me. Let's bring it around here. Final couple corners. And that's the finish. Okay, not too bad. Alright, let's see what we got next. What track do we have next? I think this is a shorter series. I might be wrong here. Yeah, it's only 3 races. So we got Infineon next, which I guess is Sonoma now. It's always funny seeing these tracks with their old guises and stuff. Infineon being, you know, Sonoma being Infineon and Laguna still being sponsored by Mazda at the time. Like, it's so weird. All right, so we've got pretty much a half grid of Subarus and roofs. How about I said Suf? So, yeah, let's see how this goes. Almost would rather have grid start sometimes because it takes so long for these rolling starts to happen. All right. Can I get around? I think it's a BTR. Kind of focusing a little bit more. The CTR is quick. I figured it would be. See, I'm surprised that the CTR is taking that long to get around that Subaru. Looks like he's about to get him, though. You'll probably be ahead of him by the end of the lap. I shouldn't pay attention to what's going on behind me, but I just want to watch that roof battle the Subaru. Still hasn't gotten him yet. Probably should pay attention to my own race, though. I just want to see it happen. That is interesting that Subaru is fighting that roof for its life back there. Oh, he's about to get him? Nope, still hasn't gotten him yet. Dang. Oh, he might get him here. Probably should. Still, as I've said it like 4 times now, I should probably pay attention to my own race rather than watching the battle behind me. I love the 3400S though. It's been really well, and you know, as much as it's been dominant, like it's nice to be in this car. I've always had really good luck with these roofs. I mean, I ran one as a kid on a GT6, I think, for a while. One of my first like fast online cars was a RGT. So I've always kind of loved running the roofs and stuff. It's hard for me to not say Porsche. But no, EA had to have the frickin' like ownership to the rights of putting Porsche in their games. Freaking lame. I'm just glad that ended. Now everyone else can enjoy it. Because EA never made a sim properly. Like, there was Shift, and the Shift games were fine, but I much prefer, you know, Forza and Gran Turismo on those. And I've played Shift 2. And, I don't know. I found that as I've gotten older, I prefer the more sim racer games compared to arcade stuff. I know that's kind of a hot take, considering the popularity of, like, Forza Horizon and, you know, obviously, like, Need for Speed Unbound and stuff like that. Like, stuff like that. But I still find myself having a lot more fun playing Gran Turismo, Forza Motorsport, you know, iRacing, stuff like that, over the arcadey stuff, like, you know, Forza tends to be. Man, it's bogged. Come on. Interesting that it shows 3 laps here, considering the lap times are the same, if not only like give or take 10 seconds between here and Hong Kong with these cars. But, you know, I said the same thing in the last episode with the GTI. I was like, the laps are the same as Trial Mountain, but they added a lap at Apricot Hill and Opera Paris. It's ironic that they used Trial Mountain for that race, even though it technically is an American track now in GT7. So I wish I could get the linearity of the triggers down, because that was like when I go half throttle on the trigger, it's registering at 100%. So I have to like barely touch the button to get half throttle. There we go. And that is going to be a rather hard hitting across the line. Man. See, how bad of a smackdown did we just hand out there? Because that was rough. Why do I feel like I'm going to get a CTR for winning this? I have a strong feeling I'm going to get a Roost CTR for winning this, aren't I? Alright, 3 laps of Deep Forest. Pretty good race there. Should be a pretty good way to close this one out. Curious to see what we'll win for that. And we can get a head start on some other builds. Is this just all Subarus? Oh my gosh, I'm a lone wolf. 5 Subarus against 1 Roof. Let's bring it back home. Let's bring it home. For Germany. And I'm getting yanked. How is that happening? I haven't been yanked to this entire series. And then they throw a 22B at me. I've noticed it's been mostly GC8s we've seen running on the Subaru crowd. It's not been a legacy. And what are the people in the in-game people not rich enough to buy Blobeyes yet? And I see we've got what looks like a Blobeye right here. This might be a bug. It would be a bug eye. But this one looks like a blob. Directly in front of me. Watch this be also a bug. Oh, it is a bug eye. Darn. They're getting rich enough for bug eyes, but not blobs, apparently. Come on. Get out of the way. Let's fire off on the straight. It's so weird though. There's been so many GC8 Imprezas. I guess because like Gran Turismo freaking worshipped the GC8 back in the day. So it's like 80 different variants of things in this game. It's like Miatas, but not as bad as Miatas or like R34s. The amount of R34s in this game, which only got worse when GT6 came out. Which thankfully has been reduced down to like 1 or 2 variants. And GT7. Question is, I want to ask you guys, for those that have watched this far, if we did this challenge again, but with a different country restriction, what country do you guys want to see? I'm thinking either Japanese or American, even though I feel like that's just playing it easier than it has been with the Germanlocke, because we'll have a lot more options. I think, honestly, the hardest part will be picking a car for the Compact Cup, and obviously the GCWC will be a challenge with the American cars, because, I mean, you've got, like, nothing. I don't think there's any major prototypes in that realm on the US side in this game, so that would be a challenge, because then we would really have to find something that was just really fast to take on cars like the Minolta. And obviously the Japanese side, I mean, you've got so many options in this game between like the 80 Subarus and the 100 Miatas. And you know, the fact the Minolta's in there to win the game outright. You guys know I've won my original playthrough with the Minolta, so you know it's definitely a lot more of a challenge to run it with German cars, and I would say almost more so than with the domestics, or I guess American cars. I forget that not everyone's from the States that watches this. I'm choking all of a sudden. So, you know. All right, final corner. Let's pin it coming out of here, and there we go. The roof remains undefeated. What a race. For me, at least, for everyone else at least. So I'm kind of sad that the 22B finished in dead last, because that's like, you know, kind of the king of the Subies. So to see it get wrecked so bad is pretty sad. All right, watch this. I'm going to call it right now because we're about to get the prize car. It's going to be a CTR. I have a feeling it's going to be a CTR or the CTR2. But it's going to be one of those two. I was right. A lot of people probably going to say, you probably did this event already. And I probably did. But I, for some reason, couldn't remember if that was actually the prize car. So yeah, now we've got that. Let's see. So we still have the Classic Series, the Compact, the Supercar Festival, and the GTWC to do here. Obviously, I need to get my IB and IA licenses for those. So let's see if there's anything we can do. Is there like any cool Roof 1 make races? Of course not. I don't think you can... Can't you buy the Yellowbird on its own? You can't. Okay. So that is a car that is now uniquely in my garage from that series. So that's pretty nice. So we've pretty much used all 6 brands now in this series. So the issue now is picking cars for what's left to do. Obviously, the main thing is just me getting those licenses, but for World Compact, I've already got a Polo GTI ready. I just have to build it. World Classic Series, though, is where the dilemma is. Because more than likely, I'll probably jump into like a 300 SL. That's probably what I'll run, because I feel like that's going to be the best case scenario for me. Supercar Festival, though, is where I'm kind of undecided. Part of me wants to run an RS6, because I know the RS6 is fast. I know the SLR McLaren is better, but I want to run it in a fast wagon and see if I can beat this little wagon. And then for GTWC, obviously, we're going to have to do some DTM stuff to get a Audi R8 for that, because I feel like the CLK GTR, while it's plenty fast, isn't going to be what we need to win that race. So that's where that is. Anyway, guys, I know this has been a shorter episode, but I'm going to go ahead and cut you guys off because there's nothing left for me to do aside from maybe get those licenses. So maybe we'll do that. I was going to cut this off. Maybe not. We'll go get at least the IB license. Let's see. What? Oh my gosh. Of course. I feel like I remember this test. Let's see. The cone slaloms are boring. The Sadie Street Challenge might be interesting. Is this where that test is? Okay, it's not. Braking during turns. Don't they say not to do that? Or at least beginners, they say don't do that. Alright, so let's talk about trail braking. Got lucky the first wall tap. Whew. Barely. Barely. Phew. Oof. That was a good smack. Almost got gold. Alright, so that is the IB license. I actually don't remember what the prize card for this is. So let's see what we got here. That honestly went a lot smoother than I thought. I think I had a harder time on the B and A license than I did the IB license. So hopefully the IA will go smooth. I know it's rough. So what do we win? Oh yeah, this thing that I can't use for anything. And that didn't come to fruition 2 years ago. Yeah. So I definitely think this will be pretty interesting. Most of these tests are pretty easy, I guess. The one lap guide runs, I hate them. And there's a reason I hate them. And you guys are actually going to see the one I hate the most. You probably figured it out. It's this one. I'm not looking forward to that. And the grad test, I don't think is too bad. But man, this is gonna suck. But yeah, I think I've covered everything I need to cover for this episode. We've now got the licenses we need to do some other events. So I think we'll put our focus on that in the next episode. But for now, guys, we'll wrap things up here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.